I suppose if I can, I'm aware of the time, but if I can bring it up to some things that are going on at the present, right? The EU is in the process with its member states of negotiating a new pact on migration and asylum. So does this new pact, in your view, does it tend to reinforce lawlessness law, or does it take the EU in a more humane direction?
No, unfortunately, and it's not going into the right direction. It's going into the direction of lawlessness law, and we have a very good example of what we call the fiction of entry, which is proposed in the pact. So the fiction of entry means that someone, a migrant who has actually entered the EU and who is supposed to benefit from all the asylum rights, so having his or her asylum claim, like processed as any other refugees, this person is deemed as having not entered the EU, meaning that all the rights which are supposed to apply to this person won't be applied here, which is again a perfect example of what lawlessness law is. Basically, we make sure to deny rights to third country nationals while presenting it as a non-violation of EU law, since it's part of EU law, which is to me deeply problematic.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've mostly focused on very negative topics, so I suppose if I can ask one last question and then maybe we'll finish up. Do you see any hope for a kind of positive change? I mean, in addition to the kind of actors that make possible lawlessness law, I mean, there are a lot of actors working in the civil society space, right, going in the other direction. So do you see kind of any pressure coming for a positive change in this area?
I think, like, in the civil society and especially organizations, they are doing an amazing job, but they are really struggling also because they are like underfunded. So I think they are extremely important in the sense that they are giving the information. So there are so many reports, there are so many videos, there are so many things, like journalists like denouncing what's happening. So these are already like doing an amazing job, but what we miss now is basically raising awareness of the population. And I think here, and you will say it's more like a negative tone rather than a positive tone, but the populists like play a terrible role, because instead of just like, and politicians in general, just trying to have a very positive discourse towards migrants, because this is basically like the future of Europe, having all these migrants coming here. Like, we can have a very utilitarian perspective saying, oh, they will pay for pensions, but which is true, they will pay for pensions, but also in terms of cultural diversity and in terms of opportunities, like these people are likely to bring so much to the EU, and I think that having a much more like positive discourse about what they can bring, who they are, would help tremendously also in terms of raising awareness and seeing them as human beings, because I think right now what's happening is that people in Europe in general are unable to see them as human beings, which is deeply problematic.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Sarah Ganty, for your time.
And thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate it.